Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to Small Talk Sports episode 24, and what an episode it is. We made it to the big milestone of 24. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and everyone else who was on that tragic helicopter ride. I love the number 24. You know, I always see it as a good omen whenever I'm just out and about, whether it's just like turning up the volume and, oh, hey, we randomly hit 24, or driving down the street, you see it in someone's address. When the number 8 is accompanying it as well. I know it's going to be a great day. But shout out to Kobe Bryant. Shout out to the number 24 and all the good omens it brings me. I hope it brings you guys some good ones too. Who are some other 24s in sports history? We got Ken Griffey Jr., Jeff Gordon. I think he was Carr, number 24. The great Marshawn Lynch and Charles Woodson. They've passed that number down to Marcus Peters, who is not wearing it proudly. We'll get into that later. But unfortunately, I'm starting the episode the same way I started episode 23, where I revealed to you guys I forgot to hit record for the first 10 minutes. Luckily, I'm somewhat a professional and realized, wait a second, I don't see the little red light. So, we're back. This is attempt number 2, but 10 minutes stronger than what you would have seen. Am I right? We're making a little positive out of this? Probably not. You know what? Enough rambling from me. We got a jam-packed episode. Damian Lillard was traded. The Raiders are in shambles. We got some great college football games to discuss, even though I don't know college football, right? Yeah, that's an inside joke from TikTok. Okay, this has been a pretty long intro. In reality, it probably hasn't, but it's been too long for my liking. Let's hop into it. Damian Lillard was traded. Before we get into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Seatgeek. You may have heard the news by now. I'm officially part of #Team Seatgeek. I am a Seatgeek brand ambassador, which means you can use the code, all caps, no spaces, Small Talk Sports. Use the code Small Talk Sports for $20 off your first purchase on Seatgeek. I highly recommend doing that. I've used Seatgeek forever. It helps me out. Seatgeek, use the code all caps, no spaces, Small Talk Sports at checkout. And let's get right into the content. Come on. As part of a 3-team deal, Damian Lillard was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns were also involved in this. Let me break it down for you in case you haven't heard by now. Damian Lillard goes to the Bucks. Portland gets DeAndre Ayton, Drew Holiday, Toumani Camara, a 2029 unprotected first-round pick, and the Bucks unprotected pick swaps in 2028 and 2030. That feels like it is not a real year. That seems like it's so far away. Phoenix receives Yusuf Nurkic, Keon Johnson, Nasir Little, and of course, the infamous Grayson Allen, who I am not a huge fan of. There's a lot of winners and losers from this trade. Obviously, the Bucks are the big winner. But before we talk about that, I just want to say I respect Damian Lillard so much. He's from Oakland. That's why he wears the number 0. It kind of looks like an O to rep that city. He's been so loyal to Portland for so long. We've all seen the memes. He doesn't run from the grind. He doesn't ring chase. He had many opportunities to leave, but he stuck with it. He just played great basketball. He gave back to the city. He gave these fans everything. And finally, they're giving him a chance to get a ring. Miami was his preferred destination. After some back and forth, Damian opened up that request, including the Nets as well as the Bucks. And sure enough, although one can argue that the weather in Miami is a million times better than Milwaukee, Damian Lillard did get his wish. And Colin Cowherd brought up an interesting point. He said this is like when you're a high school senior and you don't get into your first choice college, you get into your second and you end up falling in love with your second choice. It's a much better fit for Damian Lillard in Milwaukee with the Bucks. The Heat have only gotten older and lost 2 key players. We'll get into more of that later, but I think in the long run, Lillard will realize, hey, the Bucks aren't so bad. Maybe it'll be in June when they're playing the Lakers in the finals. But I'm just a biased Lakers fan, whatever that means. But let's break it down, winners and losers of this trade. Quick shout out to my girlfriend for this coffee mug. Thank you so much. One of the winners of this trade is the Phoenix Suns. Now, huge bruh moment when you look at this Suns starting 5. Sorry I said that. They replaced DeAndre Ayton with Yusuf Nurkic. So what they're kind of losing in defense, they're getting back in the passing abilities of Yusuf Nurkic, as well as offensively. I think Nurkic has the ability to kind of spread the floor a little better than DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton, very back to the basket kind of center. Nurkic, like I said, extends the floor a little bit, but mostly he will easier get the ball out to KD, D-Book, Bradley Beal, and of course, their superstar, Grayson Allen. I'm just kidding. These two provide a lot of depth, but they also have two pretty tradable contracts. Suns owner Matt Ishbia is really all in on winning a title yesterday, so he wants it quick. Who knows what they're doing over there in the desert, but this is probably not the team. This is probably not the full team we're going to see at the end of the season, which is hopefully very far away from June. Speaking of the Trailblazers, I think another winner is them. I think they really did win this trade, as much as you could when you're getting rid of a superstar, but they're going to be really fun to watch. They also have plans to move Drew Holiday. They're most likely not going to keep him. So the asking price is pretty high. They want at least 2 first-round picks, which is valid. I think that's pretty good valuation for as good a player Drew Holiday is, who did get cooked by Jimmy last year in the playoffs, but he's an elite defender. He's going to have a lot to give to whatever team he goes to, most likely contender. Kamara had a really nice summer league. He averaged 14 and 9 over at Dayton. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant. Now you throw in Kamara as well as DeAndre Ayton. This is going to be a pretty fun team. They're not title contenders, but for a rebuilding team that is probably going to get their 2 firsts that they're asking for with Drew Holiday, maybe even another rotational piece. I'm ranking Portland right now where the Oklahoma City Thunder were 2 seasons ago, where they really have a lot of pieces. They got a lot in the reserve, so let's just kind of give them time, wait it out. Scoot Henderson might just become an MVP of this league one day. So let's just wait for them and see what happens to Portland. I think a loser of this trade is the Miami Heat, unfortunately. I do really like them. I do really like Jimmy Butler, who had a viral social media video claiming that there might be some tampering involved with the Bucks, but you didn't hear it from him. The Heat claimed that they were going to get everyone this offseason, Dame being linked to them big time because he said that the Miami Heat were their preferred destination. But now, like I was saying earlier, they lost 2 key players. They lost Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, shout out to him. And they just got older. Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, they're not starting to show their age by any means, but they're not the same players they were 5-10 years ago. But hey, at least the management is all good with Tyler Hero, right? At least they weren't threatening to trade him to every single team in the league for the last 2 seasons, right? And for the last winner and loser, I want to go with a potential winner, and I am going with the Boston Celtics. You guys know what you have to do. You have to go out and get Drew Holiday. I think his lockdown defense is going to be key for this team, and I think that the Celtics need to do whatever they need to do to get Drew Holiday in that Celtic screen. As a Laker fan, I don't want to see it. As a basketball fan, I think it would be great to see, and just having another giant in the NBA, as good as the Celtics already were, but we're potentially seeing a Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals and a Lakers Suns Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a great NBA season, but we're gearing up for one of those NBA seasons. You know what I'm saying? We're gearing up for a 2010 caliber NBA season. I think it's going to be great, and I just can't wait for some basketball. But before we get to basketball season, we get to enjoy the glory that is football season. So let's hop into some college football real quick. Now, this is a game that has been on my calendar for literal months, but USC is going over to Colorado to play Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. Now, unfortunately, one of my favorite players in college football, Travis Hunter, is not going to be in attendance. He is still injured from that crazy hit that he took 2 weeks ago. Colorado is, a 21.5-point underdog against USC and their lethal offense. But I still think it's going to be a super fun game. You obviously have one of the best coaches in football. I specifically did not say college football. You have one of the best coaches in the sport over with Coach Prime Deion Sanders. You have his son, Shador Sanders, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. But how are we, and I think I used the same segue last week, how are we going to talk about Heisman Trophy candidates without talking about Caleb Williams, my man, my king, the quarterback at USC? He won the Heisman Trophy last year. It's looking like he wants to do it again, and I'm here for it. He's got 15 touchdowns, a very crisp 1,200, exactly 1,200 passing yards, and even has 3 rushing touchdowns this year. As we know, USC has an elite offense, and my bold prediction is by the end of the season, I will be able to outwardly say that USC's offense could beat a bottom 3 NFL defense in at least one drive. Give them 3 attempts, okay? I think that's pretty fair. My good friend Noah Cameras was quick to very correctly tell me that NFL schemes and NFL defensive coordinators and NFL players are just all so much more difficult than the college game. So here I am watching Caleb Williams smoke San Jose State. Obviously, San Jose State's defense is not the same as even the worst defense in the NFL. These guys are professionals. This is their career. I want to give them that respect. But it doesn't come from a hatred of poor NFL teams. It comes from a love of USC football and their high-flying offense. And this elite high-flying offense seemed a little distracted last week at ASU. Obviously the defense did as well. But that game was a little too close for comfort in the first half. That game also ended up changing my life because I saw a player on USC's team take off one of his jerseys in the middle of the kickoff to reveal a second jersey underneath. And I put it on TikTok because I literally never seen this before. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was so crazy. Why are they doing that? Disclaimer, I did and do know and have known this since the Mark Sanchez era at USC and in college football as a whole, that players on offense and defense share numbers because they're not on the field together at the same time, so they can share numbers. There's so many more players on a college roster than an NFL roster. So if those players are on a special teams formation together, kickoffs for example, and you get the 2 people that have the same number, one is given basically a replacement jersey to just slip on, do their thing, and leave. And as the internet let me know, this is an extremely common thing in college football. It doesn't really get picked up on the TV broadcast all the time, which is the reason I haven't seen it. And I just haven't been paying that close attention to the kickoffs for this to have affected me in such a way that I would know it. But if we're being honest, I definitely should have known that. I'm owning up to it. But Jalen Ramsey is a notable college player who did this, a notable professional player who did this in college. And, that was I guess you can say that was an L taken by me. As arrogant as this is going to sound, we got a lot of new followers from that. A lot of people liked the video. Over 2 million people viewed the video. My career high on TikTok was 150,000 views. So to wake up and see that number was shattered, I woke up, it was at 260,000. There were a couple people in the comments defending me, saying that this isn't always picked up on TV broadcasts. It's not like as common knowledge as the mean people would insinuate. But hey, a lot of positives came from it. We got a lot of new people in this community. Shout out to you guys. And, we were going to run our Dodger playoff ticket giveaway. And, it just created a much bigger audience for that and the opportunity for a lot more people to win Dodger tickets. But why are we talking about Dodger baseball when we're in the middle of our USC versus Colorado talk? Let me button this up. Sorry about that to our college football fans that we went a little off the rails there. USC's electric offense, Caleb Williams, you got a Hall of Fame Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice. He's on the team. Taj Washington, he has very similar stats to him. Let me pull this up. Caleb Williams has 2 wideouts who are just both equally threatening. Let me read off their stats for you. Taj Washington has 278 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Brendan Rice has 257 yards with 5 touchdowns. So it's like 2 almost equally elite receivers. Marshawn Lloyd, who I fell in love with recently, he's got 2 touchdowns and 349 yards over these 4 games. Zachariah Branch, the extremely phenomenal kick returner. On the receiving end, he has 2 touchdowns, 178 yards, 13 catches. Awesome. He has a punt return touchdown as well as a kick return touchdown this year. Zachariah Branch has a lot of Devin Hester potential, being a really great receiver as well as one of the best returners in the league. But he's only a freshman. He has so much more time to get better and better and better. So even though I just raved about this USC team for probably way too long, sorry about that, I'm actually picking Colorado to cover, okay? 21.5 points is a lot. USC showed some gaps in last week's game at ASU. It should have been a 50-point blowout. But if USC is playing the same way they played last week, I do not see them winning by more than 3 scores. So give me the USC win, of course, but do not be surprised if Colorado covers. Are the Raiders in shambles? Because I think that they might be. Now, you know that I picked them to get to the playoffs, and delusionally, I'm sticking to that. But Jimmy Garoppolo is still in concussion protocol. Devontae Adams suddenly might be traded. And Chandler Jones was just arrested this morning. Now, I don't want to speak anymore on that. There's a lot of different facts that I do not know, but one fact that I do know is that this morning, Chandler Jones was arrested. That's all I want to say. I actually made a different video about Chandler Jones, and then a lot more information got released, and it didn't really align with the things I was saying, so I'm not going to be posting misinformation or things that aren't 100% true. I was trying to hype you guys up about Marcus Peters in the beginning of the season, and he is just really not looking like the Marcus Peters I thought he was going to be. The Raiders are getting a little bit of a break this Sunday. The Chargers said that Austin Eckler and Derwin James are not playing over in LA. They're taking on the Raiders, so it's pretty much a Raiders home game. But then that's not going to mean anything if our quarterback isn't playing, who, when he is playing, really did not have a good showing Sunday night against the Steelers. Raiders 1,000,000% should have won that game. And I'm just going to say it, if Derek Carr was quarterback and not Jimmy Garoppolo, I do think the Raiders win that game. Are the Raiders going to turn this around? I think so. And I say that because I'm a huge Raider fan, and I have. All right, so I'm back. You probably just saw a really awkward jump cut. This episode is just full of technical mistakes. I went to end the recording because I finished the episode, and Logic gave me this alert that it was a system overload. So everything after where you just watched it cut off was deleted. So we had some really good stuff. I'm a little disappointed. This is gonna sound like cap. But I do want you guys to hear most of it. This rest of the episode's going to be a little rougher because I do I do have to go and edit this. The rest of the Raider section was missed, and then also my favorite Kobe moments of all time. That segment was also deleted. There was no audio, unfortunately. I was reminiscing a lot. I was feeling very sentimental. So we are just going to not quickly, but I'll go over my favorite Kobe moments again for you guys. I feel so horrible. This is not going to sound genuine at all because I did just record it. And now that I'm like aware of that, I'm just going to feel like I'm repeating the same things twice. But without further ado, favorite Kobe moments. It's going to be the buzzer beater against D Wade. He banked it in. I know you guys remember that one. And I will always remember, having to mute the Laker games, go and do Shabbat blessings with my family, running back, unmuting, watching the game, yelling at the TV when they would lose, cheering when those buzzer beaters would go in. And with the case with Kobe Bryant, that was a lot of the time. He was Mr. Clutch. There was no question about it. I think an honorable mention moment for me would be the 2010 NBA Finals, where Lamar Odom throws the ball down the court. Kobe runs, gets it. He's putting his finger in the air. He jumps onto the scorers table. He reveals that the 5, he won his 5th championship. And that was just such a special moment in Los Angeles history, as well as obviously sports history. And, when they unveil his statue with Gigi as a part of it in front of the Staples Center, all right, I don't know what else you guys are trying to call it, but in front of the Staples Center on February 8th, 2024, that is going to be such a special moment for basketball fans, such a special moment in LA culture, in LA history once again. And I'm really excited for it. I feel horrible. This segment is so much shorter than when I first recorded it. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, to Gigi, to everyone else who was on that helicopter for that horrible, awful accident. That's about it from me today. A bit of a somber ending, but that's just the way life is sometimes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't really have anything else to plug. So without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Small Talk Sports.